It was my wedding day. The MC was pouring his heart out from the stage. And the guests erupted in applause. But my bride, Emma, had been called away 10 minutes before the ring exchange. When she came running back, lifting the hem of her wedding dress with that blissful smile on her face, the vast banquet hall held nothing but the few dozen people from her side of the family. She froze. Where is everyone? Liam. Where did all the guests go? I looked at her, pulled a cold smile, and pointed to the microphone still glowing on her chest. Because everything you just said to your lover was broadcast live to the entire room. Liam. What are you talking about? All the color drained from Emma's face in an instant. Her hand flew to the microphone on her chest. But it was too late. I stared at that face, the one that used to haunt my dreams. The one that now turned my stomach and felt every last trace of my love shatter into dust. Just as it had 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes earlier. The MC's rich, velvety voice was building the moment. And now, with our warmest applause, let us hear our groom, Liam, speak his most sincere vows to his bride. I held the ring in my hands and was about to speak. A man in a groomsman's suit, someone I didn't recognize at all, hurried over to Emma and whispered something in her ear. Emma's expression shifted. She gave me an apologetic smile. Liam. Wait for me just a second. Lucas. He needs to talk to me about something urgent. Lucas. The best friend, like a brother Emma always talked about. A spoiled rich kid with nothing better to do. My stomach dropped. But I nodded anyway. Today was our wedding day. I chose to trust her. She lifted her dress and followed the man hurrying back to the lounge behind the stage. 1 minute. 2 minutes. 5. The guests started murmuring. My parents' faces grew tense. Sweat beaded on my hand as I clutched the ring. That was when the $1 million surround sound system in the banquet hall crackled to life. It wasn't music. It was a woman's voice. It was Emma. Oh. What's the rush? There are so many people waiting out there, she said, her tone playful and coy. Then a cocky male voice answered. How can I not rush? My baby's marrying that deadbeat today. If I don't come now, you'll actually be sleeping with him tonight. Won't you? It was Lucas. The entire room went dead silent. Every eye in the room turned from me to the massive speakers. I felt every drop of blood in my body turn to ice. Emma's voice came again. Impatient and boastful. Oh. Stop it. I'm only marrying him so he'll buy me that limited edition bag and piss off my parents. Did you see how stupid he looks? Drained every last cent of his savings for this wedding. Thinking he can trap me. After today. Once I get the money, I'll say we're incompatible and file for divorce. Simple as that. You're so clever. Baby. Lucas sounded smug. But you have to make it up to me tonight. Has Liam touched you yet? Ugh. Stop it. Like I'd ever let him. My first time is for you. Obviously. Hey. Hands off. My makeup will run. What's there to be afraid of? You'll look even prettier smudged. Like you've been crying. That idiot will just feel worse for you. Come here. Give your man a kiss. What followed was a chorus of disgusting, breathy sounds and wet, sloppy noises. The banquet hall was so quiet you could hear every person breathing. I stood on that stage like a clown stripped naked, enduring the execution of hundreds of staring eyes. There was sympathy in some of those gazes, pity in others, but mostly there was the smirk of people enjoying the show. My parents were deathly pale. My mother swayed on her feet, and my father had to hold her up tight. Emma's parents, meanwhile, looked furious and wouldn't meet my eyes. My heart felt as cold as a toilet seat in Siberia. That was when the lounge door opened. Emma came skipping back, dress in hand, cheeks flushed, a satisfied little smile playing at the corner of her mouth. Then she saw the half-empty hall and the guests staring at her with strange looks. And her smile froze. Where is everyone? Liam. Where did all the guests go? She ran up onto the stage and asked me. Genuinely confused. I looked at her, at the smudge she hadn't wiped from her lip. At the little red light still blinking on the microphone clipped to her dress. It was a Topophthalene lavalier mic. The MC had clipped it on her himself. To make sure her vows came through crystal clear. I smiled. I pointed at the microphone and spoke slowly. Every word sharp and deliberate. Because everything you just said to your lover was broadcast live to the entire room. Emma's pupils blew wide. She froze as if struck by lightning. And the color drained from her face so fast you could practically see it happen. "No. That can't be," she mumbled, tearing at the microphone on her chest like a woman possessed. "Don't rush." I held her hand still, took the main microphone from the MC, and spoke in a voice that wasn't loud but carried perfectly through the hall. "Friends, family, honored guests, I am sorry you had to witness this farce." I paused, letting my gaze sweep over Emma's ashen face, over her parents who looked like they wanted to vanish into the floor. "The wedding ceremony as planned ends here. Now, I declare the memorial service for Liam and Emma's love officially open. First item on the agenda. Let us revisit the love that has passed." I picked up the remote from the MC's podium and hit replay. "Oh, what's the rush? There are so many people waiting out there." Emma's seductive voice rolled through the million-dollar sound system once again, filling every corner of the room. "No. Turn it off. Liam. Turn it off now," Emma shrieked, lunging for the remote. I stepped aside. She missed, her $15,000 wedding dress catching on her heel. With a loud rip, it tore open along the side, and she crashed to the floor in a heap. Her relatives finally snapped out of it. Her mother, Charlotte, stormed up onto the stage and jabbed a finger in my face. "Liam, you maniac. What do you think you're doing? Don't you know you don't air your dirty laundry in public? Emma made a mistake, can't you just forgive her once? What kind of man are you? What kind of man am I?" I gave a cold laugh and looked down at her from my height. I drained 6 years of savings, took on a 30-year mortgage, bought her the house she wanted, threw her the wedding she wanted. I thought I was building her a home. And what happens? I'm up here waiting like an idiot to marry her, while she's back there fooling around with another man. And now you're asking me what kind of man I am. My voice rose sharply as I pointed at Emma, crumpled pathetically on the floor. "I'll tell you all this, from today forward. I, Liam, am done with your entire family. Done. The wedding cost $120,000. Every last cent. I want it all back in 3 days. Otherwise, we'll see each other in court." "You," Charlotte trembled with rage. "That's blackmail. You chose to throw the wedding." "Chose? I chose to marry a wife. I didn't choose to pay for everyone to watch a live sex show." I picked up my phone and saved the high-definition recording. This recording is going straight to my lawyer. I'm sure the law will give me justice. Emma's father, William, a man who always loved lecturing me with that patronizing elder tone, finally spoke, his face dark. "Liam, leave a door open so you can walk through it again later. Today was our daughter's mistake, and we own that. But making a scene like this helps nobody. Helps nobody." I laughed like I'd just heard the funniest joke in the world. "Uncle William, your daughter cheated on me at my own wedding. Humiliated me in front of hundreds of people, and you're talking to me about what helps? I'll tell you this, the moment she and that lover of yours said those things in that lounge, there was nothing left between us but hate. I ignored them and walked off the stage, heading straight for my parents. My mother had cried herself dry. She looked at me, her eyes filled with concern. Dad. Mom. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to be embarrassed like this. I knelt in front of them and bowed my head deeply. Don't be silly. Get up. My father pulled me to my feet and clapped me on the shoulder, his voice rough. It's not your fault. We just weren't lucky enough to have that kind of good daughter-in-law. Come on. Let's go home. I nodded, took my parents' arms, and walked toward the banquet hall doors without looking back. Behind me, I heard Charlotte's shrill sobs and curses, and Emma's desperate wailing. I didn't slow down for a second. Outside the hotel, the bright sun hit my face. I looked up at the sky and took a deep breath. The sky was the same sky it had always been. But I, Liam, was not the same man I'd been yesterday. The fool who'd groveled in the dirt for love had died that day. What remained was a demon born for revenge. When I got home, I locked myself in my room and said nothing. My parents sighed and fretted outside the door, but they didn't dare come in and disturb me. I didn't break down. I didn't cry. I just sat at my computer and listened to that recording, over and over. Every coy word from Emma, every mocking laugh from Lucas, they were like poison knives, carving into my heart again and again. Did it hurt? Yes, it hurt. But beneath the pain was an anger so cold it burned. I opened every social media app one had and went through every photo, Every post Emma and I had ever shared together. From the day we met until now. All those memories that had once felt so sweet had turned into the cruelest of jokes. Honey. You're the best. You'd do anything for me. The luckiest thing that ever happened to me was meeting you. Once we're married, I'll give you a big fat baby boy. I read those words with a blank face and hit delete. One by one. Post by post. Gone. Every last one. When I was done, something inside me felt completely empty. And completely hard. That evening, I opened my bedroom door. My mother was waiting outside with a steaming bowl of noodles. Liam. Eat something. You haven't had a thing all day. Her eyes were red and swollen. She'd been crying. I took the bowl and ate ravenously. I'm fine. Mom. I mumbled through a mouthful. I'm hungry. Need to eat to get my strength back. Strength to take back everything that was mine. First thing the next morning, I called the best divorce lawyer in the city. James. I sent him the recording and the video from the wedding. After listening, he was quiet for a long time. Mr. Liam. I'm sorry this happened to you. But from a legal standpoint, you hold all the cards right now. I don't want sympathy. I cut him off. I want them ruined. I want them with nothing. I understand. James's voice was steady. Ms. Emma's actions constitute a severe breach of the marital contract. And the public nature of this has caused you enormous reputational and emotional harm. We can argue for all wedding expenses to be borne by the woman. Plus substantial damages for emotional distress. Good. Also, regarding this Lucas you mentioned, James continued. I'll have people look into his background and his company. Rich kids like that here's usually dirt under their fingernails. I hung up the phone feeling a little lighter in the chest. But it wasn't enough. Not nearly enough. I opened my computer and logged into a programmer forum I hadn't used in years. Back in college, I'd been something of a known tech nerd. I posted a thread. $100,000 bounty, all the dirt you can find on one man. Below it, I attached Lucas's name and a photo of his sports car, the one he loved showing off all over his social media. Offer enough money, and brave men will crawl out of the woodwork. I trusted the internet to give me what I wanted. When I was done, my phone rang. It was Emma. I declined. She called again. I declined again and blocked her number. Soon after, a text came from an unknown number. Liam. Pick up. We need to talk. Please. I read the message. Felt a cold smile tug at my lips. And typed back 2 words. Wait. Wait and see how I nail you 2 cheating bastards to the wall. 1 nail at a time. I thought Emma would lay low for a few days. Instead, she and her mother Charlotte showed up right outside my office building. It was rush hour. The second Charlotte saw me, she threw herself at me like a woman possessed. Scratching and clawing. Liam. You ungrateful little snake. You posted that recording online. Didn't you? You've ruined my daughter's life. I stumbled back from her attack. My arm stinging where she'd raked her nails. Emma stood off to the side. Crying those big, pitiful tears. Looking utterly tragic. Liam. I know I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Please just take the post down. I'm begging you. More and more of my coworkers gathered around. Pointing and whispering. I watched this mother-daughter act with cold eyes. I hadn't posted the wedding recording. I'd only clipped the audio and sent it anonymously to a local gossip group. Along with Lucas's name and Emma's occupation, elementary school art teacher. I hadn't expected the story to blow up this fast. Overnight. Elementary school teacher cheats with rich kid at wedding. Live broadcast goes wrong was trending on every local feed. Emma's school. Lucas's company, all of it had been dug up by furious netizens. I ruined you. I shook Charlotte off and looked at the sobbing Emma. And all I felt was scorn. You ruined yourself. You couldn't keep your legs closed. And you played me like a fool. I didn't. I just made a stupid mistake. Emma wailed. A stupid mistake. I laughed. Was it a stupid mistake when you told your lover back in that lounge that you were only marrying me for my money to buy bags? Was it a stupid mistake when you said you'd dump me the second you got what you wanted? My voice wasn't loud. But it carried far enough for every coworker nearby to hear. The crowd's expression shifted from curious gossip to open contempt for Emma and her mother. Charlotte saw the tide turning and switched tactics instantly. She plopped down on the ground and started rolling around. Screaming. There's no justice in this world. My daughter gave him 3 years of her life. And now he's smearing her like this. He just doesn't want to pay the bride price. He set this whole thing up to trap our daughter. The talent for twisting the truth was genuinely breathtaking. That was when a cool, clear female voice cut through the crowd from behind. Ma'am. You say he set this up. Tell me, did he force your daughter to cheat on him with another man on her wedding day? The crowd parted like water. A woman in a sharp professional skirt walked through, poise and presence rolling off her in waves. It was Sophia, our new project director, the CEO's daughter. I was surprised she'd stepped in. Sophia came to stand beside me, glanced at the scratches on my arm and frowned slightly, then turned back to Charlotte with sharp, unflinching eyes, creating a public disturbance. Slander. I could call the police right now. Or I could send the security footage from our building entrance, along with a highlights reel of Ms. Emma's wedding day performance, to every major media outlet in town. Your choice. Charlotte was stunned silent by her presence. Her mouth opened and closed, but not a sound came out. Emma looked terrified, all the blood gone from her face. Sophia didn't spare them another glance. She turned to me. Liam. Come with me. The CEO wants to see you. I nodded and followed her into the building under 100 complicated stairs. Behind us, Emma and her mother stood alone, awkward and venomous. This was just the beginning. Emma. Lucas. Every humiliation you gave me, I'll pay you back double. In the elevator, Sophia pulled a Band-Aid out of her bag and handed it to me. Thanks. I took it and pressed it over the scratch on my arm. The CEO doesn't want to see you, she said quietly, watching my reflection in the elevator mirror. I just needed an excuse to get you out of there. I figured. Still, thank you. Don't mention it. She paused. Are you okay? I'm alive. I tugged at a corner of my mouth. The elevator opened onto the top floor, into Sophia's office. She poured me a glass of water and got straight to the point. I read that Project Stellar optimization proposal you submitted a while back. Brilliant work. It got shelved for reasons. Project Stellar was our company's biggest initiative this year, but it had been stalled for nearly 2 months thanks to a technical bottleneck. I'd submitted an aggressive solution, but my direct manager had shot it down as too risky. Well, I'm unshelving it. Sophia looked me dead in the eye. I need someone to lead it. Do you have the guts? I looked into those clear, sharp eyes of hers, and my heart skipped a beat. This was the chance to turn everything around. To rise so far above everyone who'd ever looked down on me that they'd strain their necks just trying to see me. I didn't hesitate. Good. Sophia smiled. And for a second the whole office seemed brighter. Pick whoever you want for the team. Budget goes through me. I have one condition. I want results in 1 month. Done. Walking out of Sophia's office, I felt like I could take on the world. The old Liam was dead. The new one only cared about one thing: winning. Building something. Making money. Only when you stand high enough do the people who hurt you have to look up, and even then, the light blinds them. I threw myself into Project Stellar. I picked the sharpest technical minds in the company and built a new team. We ate and slept at the office. 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night if we were lucky. During those weeks, I ran like a machine that never tired. Code and data filled my head, and there was no room for anything else. James called me at one point. Mr. Liam. Emma's side is cracking. They want to settle out of court. Full refund of all wedding expenses. Plus an extra $20,000 for emotional damages. Not enough. My voice was cold. I want a public apology in the local newspaper. Full page. That's going to be difficult. Then we'll see them in court. I hung up. I wanted the money. And I wanted her humiliated. Completely and utterly. 2 weeks later, the project had its breakthrough. We cracked the core algorithm. That night, the whole team was cheering. Sophia showed up too, with a case of beer and the best takeout in town. Liam. You didn't let me down. She raised her glass. You're the one who gave me the chance. Director. I clinked my glass against hers. She looked at me with something I couldn't read in her eyes. I heard you're making her publish an apology in the paper. Yeah. Ruthless. She grinned. I like it. I blinked, not sure how to respond. She leaned in a little closer and lowered her voice, speaking right in my ear. You don't go easy on garbage people. And for the record, I had someone look into Lucas's company. Tax evasion. Cooked books. I've got all the evidence organized for you. She handed me a USB drive. I held that tiny little drive and felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I looked at Sophia's face. So close to mine. And caught the faint scent of her perfume. My composure slipped. I didn't use Sophia's USB right away. A cat and mouse game is only fun if you take it slow. I wanted to pull Lucas's claws first. Then shatter his bones one by one. I spent a whole day going through everything on the drive carefully. Lucas's family ran a mid-sized construction company. Mostly winning government contracts through his father's connections. The files detailed 3 years of evidence: bid rigging, cutting corners, passing off cheap substandard materials as certified grade. Every transaction documented. Clear as day. More importantly, there was a name at the center of it all: David. A deputy director in charge of project bidding. More than half of Lucas's company's contracts traced back to this man. And the bounty thread I'd posted on the programmer forum had also borne fruit. An anonymous hacker sent me something even bigger. Chat logs between Lucas and deputy director David. And some very compromising photos. Turned out Lucas wasn't just giving David money. He was giving him people. And one of those people was Emma. The timestamp was from when we were planning the wedding. My stomach turned. I'd thought I was angry enough. Cold enough. But seeing the filth of it all, I felt the blood rush straight to my head. Good. Real good. Emma. You really did give me one hell of a surprise. I organized the evidence. Half went to James to prepare the lawsuit. The other half I sent anonymously to the city's anti-corruption commission tip line. When I was done, I texted Emma. Tomorrow. 10 a.m. County clerk's office. Bring the money and the apology letter. I showed up right on time. Emma and Charlotte were already there. In just a few days. Emma looked worn thin. Dark circles under her eyes. None of that bright, proud energy she'd had on the wedding day. Charlotte looked at me with poison in her eyes. But she didn't dare make a scene this time. Did you bring the money? I asked. Charlotte pulled a bank card and a handwritten letter out of her bag and tossed them at me. It's all there. Liam. Don't push your luck. I picked up the so-called apology letter. A few messy lines about being young and foolish. Hoping I'd be the bigger person. You call this an apology? I laughed coldly and tore the letter to pieces right in front of them. You, Charlotte sputtered. Rewrite it. I stared straight at Emma. Write down every detail: how you and Lucas talked about me behind my back. How you played me. How you cheated on me on our wedding day. Every word. Then take it to the newspaper. I want half a page. Liam. You're going too far. Emma finally snapped. Screaming. Are you trying to drive me to my grave? Drive you to your grave? I stepped closer. Leaning in until only she could hear me. Where was this concern when you were sleeping with Deputy Director David? Did you ever stop to think you might be driving me to mine? Emma went rigid. She stared at me in disbelief. Pure terror in her eyes. How? How did you know? I know more than you can possibly imagine. I leaned back. Cold and composed again. 3 days. Either you publish that apology and we're done. Or all of this gets posted outside the elementary school where you work. And outside your parents' offices too. I held up my phone. On the screen, those compromising photos of Lucas and David. All the color drained from Emma's face. Her legs gave out. And she collapsed on the ground. Emma caved in the end. 3 days later. The city's most popular daily paper ran half a page of apology letter. In the most abject, groveling language. Emma detailed every part of it. How she and Lucas had conspired to toy with my feelings and my dignity. How she'd betrayed me on our wedding day. Lucas's name was redacted. But anyone paying attention knew exactly who it was. The story became the biggest watercooler talk in the whole city. Emma was socially dead. She got fired from the school. Everywhere she went, people pointed and whispered. As for me, once the 140,000 hit my account. We signed the divorce papers. Walking out of the clerk's office, I felt like a boulder had been lifted halfway off my chest. The other half was for Lucas. Project Stellar wrapped up a week ahead of schedule. Thanks to my team and me. At the results presentation, my demo earned unanimous praise from every executive in the room, including the CEO himself. After the meeting, Samuel, Sophia's father, the CEO, pulled me aside. Liam, Excellent work. Samuel clapped me on the shoulder. Approval in his eyes. Young man. You've got talent and backbone. Sophia was right about you. Thank you, sir. It's only because you and Director Sophia gave me the chance. Chances are for people who are ready for them. Samuel's tone shifted. I looked at your file. 3 years at the company. Still a team lead. Gold always rises to the top. How would you like a change of scenery? Something stirred in my chest. Sir. I'm starting a new company. Independent operation. Focused entirely on artificial intelligence. I want you to be its general manager. I froze. From team lead to general manager of a brand new company. That was one hell of a jump. What? Not feeling confident. Samuel smiled. No. I'm in. I answered immediately. I couldn't back down. This was my shot at the big leagues. Good. Samuel looked pleased. It'll be hard work. Building from scratch. I don't mind hard work. Then it's settled. Sophia will walk you through the details tomorrow. Walking out of the CEO's office. I still felt a little dazed. Everything was happening so fast. Back at the project floor. Sophia was leaning against the doorway waiting for me. She was wearing a white dress that day. Hair falling over her shoulders. And in the golden sunset she looked like a painting. My dad talked to you? She asked. Smiling. He did. I nodded. Thank you. Sophia. Just Sophia. She tilted her head. A playful little smile on her lips. We're partners now. Director sounds so formal. Okay. Sophia. Her name felt strange in my mouth. To celebrate our new CEO's promotion me treat tonight. You in? She winked. I couldn't say no. That night? She took me to a very fancy French restaurant. To the sound of soft piano music. She told me all about her vision for the new company. Her perspective. Her ambition. It humbled me. Liam. She said. Swirling the red wine in her glass. Looking at me with those dreamy eyes. Do you know why I helped you? Because of my proposal. Partly. She shook her head. More than that, I saw something in you. What? Ambition. She spoke slowly. Each word deliberate. A man can be poor. He can be down on his luck, but he can never be without ambition. The way you handled yourself at that wedding. I could tell you weren't the kind of man who stays down. You're a sleeping lion. You just needed someone to wake you up. Her words hit me like electricity. Even at my most humiliated. She hadn't seen a clown. She'd seen a lion. So. She set down her glass and leaned forward. Looking me straight in the eye. This is an investment. I'm investing in a man I might one day look up to. Is that reason enough for you? My heart skipped a beat. Setting up the new company went surprisingly smoothly. With Samuel and Sophia behind me. Office space. Funding. And personnel all fell into place fast. I officially left my old job to take the reins of Morningstar Tech as general manager. On opening day. Samuel came personally to cut the ribbon. The full treatment. I stood on that stage looking out at all my old colleagues and managers. And 100 feelings washed over me. In barely a month. My whole life had turned upside down. And as for the man who'd started it all, Lukashi's days of wine and roses were numbered. The Anti-Corruption Commission moved faster than I'd expected. Deputy Director David was placed under investigation for massive bribery and lifestyle issues. As his biggest source of kickbacks. Lucas's family company got the full audit treatment. Tax evasion. Falsified financials. Bid rigging. Charge after charge. All serious. The company was seized. Bank accounts frozen. His father went white overnight and ended up in the hospital. Lucas went from a free-spending rich kid to a debt-ridden nobody overnight. He called me. His voice was a mess of panic and venom. Liam. You did this. Didn't you? You low-life coward. I did. I admitted it calmly. I just told the right people about the things you did. Call it karma. You'll pay for this. He screamed. Maybe. But one thing's for sure, you're not walking away from this. I hung up with a cold smile. A few days later. James told me Lucas had been formally arrested on multiple charges. Bribery. Forging corporate seals. And more. What waited for him was a long stretch in prison. As for Emma, once Lucas fell. She had nothing left. Her landlord kicked her out. She couldn't find work. She got by on odd jobs. She came looking for me again. I was in a meeting with Sophia when the front desk called some woman named Emma insisting on seeing me. I had security escort her out. Not long after, a text came through. Liam. I know I was wrong. I really do. I don't want anything anymore. I just want to come back to you. I'll do anything. Be anything. Please. Just give me one more chance. I read it and almost laughed. If you knew then what you know now, would you have done it all the same? I handed the phone to Sophia. She read it, raised an eyebrow, took my phone, typed furiously for a second, and hit send. I took the phone back. The message read, anything you say. Sorry. We don't need cleaning staff. Also, I'm his girlfriend. Don't contact my boyfriend again. I looked at Sophia. She was grinning at me like a cat that got the cream. Well, was that boss enough? I couldn't help but laugh. Yeah. More than enough. The last of the shadow in my chest melted away with that laugh. Morningstar Tech thrived under my leadership. We landed several major contracts. And the company started making a name for itself in the industry. Sophia and I grew closer and closer. She'd find excuses to drop by my office every day under the guise of checking in. Sometimes she'd bring me lunch she'd made herself. Sometimes she'd corner me to debate the latest industry-wide trends. Everyone at the company quietly treated her like the lady of the house. I wasn't blind to the heat in her eyes, or how close she kept getting. But Emma had cut me so deep. There was a wall inside me I couldn't quite climb over. Until that day. Company retreat. We went to a hot spring resort on the edge of town. That night, everyone was singing and drinking in the KTV lounge. Sophia pulled me out onto the open terrace behind the resort. Moonlight spilled over everything like water. The night air was warm and soft. She was in a simple t-shirt and jeans. But she'd never looked more beautiful. Liam. Are you still thinking about what happened? She asked suddenly. I went quiet. Let the past stay in the past. She stepped in front of me and gently took my hand. You deserve better. Her hand was soft. Warm. I opened my mouth but didn't know what to say. Don't say anything. Just listen. She cut me off. Stood on her toes. And spoke right in my ear. I like you. I liked you from the moment you stood on that wedding stage and calmly called it a memorial service. You're strong. You're sharp. And you don't let people get away with things. You're the most interesting man I've ever met. I don't care what you've been through. All I know is your future has to have me in it. Before I could react, she kissed me. Her kiss tasted like red wine, sweet, soft, and utterly sure of itself. Something in my head went hum. And every last wall, every last defense I'd built up crumbled to dust. I pulled her closer and kissed her back. When we finally pulled apart, we looked at each other and saw the same fire burning in both our eyes. So, General Manager Liam. She licked her lips. Her voice low and husky. Are you ready to officially let me court you? I looked into those bright eyes and nodded solemnly. It would be my honor. Miss Sophia. Once Sophia and I were officially together. Every day felt like honey. She was one person to the world and a completely different one with me. At the office, she was the sharp, decisive director Sophia. With me, she pouted. She teased. She clung to me like a little girl and made me tell her bedtime stories. She saw through every one of my brave faces. And she handled my broken heart with such gentle care. She'd take me go-karting and tell me a man should chase speed and passion. She'd sit quietly with me while I worked late into the night and make me a cup of hot tea. With her, I finally healed. I left all of it behind. And my career exploded. Morningstar Tech's first product, an AI customer service system built on real intelligence and genuine warmth, took the market by storm the second it launched. Orders poured in like snow. The company's valuation increased tenfold in barely half a year. I went from a broke loser to one of the hottest new names in tech. The media started covering my comeback story. They turned the wedding betrayal and everything after into an inspirational underdog tale. I became a role model to a lot of people. And Emma and Lucas. They became the ugliest footnote in that story. Lucas got 10 years on all charges combined. Word was he'd gotten his leg broken in prison. Life was hell for him. As for Emma, she vanished from my world entirely. I thought our paths would never cross again. 1 year later, I was in a 3 Michelin-star restaurant, proposing to Sophia. I was down on one knee. holding the ring I'd bought with my first project bonus. Sophia. Thank you. When I was in the darkest place I'd ever been, you were the light. You taught me I was worth loving. So will you marry me? Let me spend the rest of my life taking care of you. Sophia's eyes glistened. She smiled and nodded hard. Yes. 1,000 times yes. The other diners around us clapped warmly. I was just about to slip the ring on her finger when a scream shattered the moment. Ah. A woman in a server's uniform had slipped and spilled an entire plate of lobster bisque all over a guest at the next table. The guest stood up furious, yelling and pointing at her. I looked over. And when I saw her face, I froze. It was Emma. She looked 10 years older than she had a year ago. Her hair was dull and brittle. She'd put on weight. Her face was all hardship and weariness, none of that proud, bright girl I'd once known remained. She saw me too. Saw me. And Sophia beside me. And the glittering ring in my hand. Shock crossed her face first. Then jealousy. Then bottomless regret and despair. The guest tore into her. The manager dressed her down without mercy. She just stood there, staring at me. Tears streaming down her face like rain. Sophia followed my gaze. Understood immediately. And raised an eyebrow. She stood up. Walked over to Emma. Pulled a thick stack of cash out of her bag. And handed it to the splattered guest. I'm so sorry about your suit. Sir. Please, this should cover it. And dinner's on us tonight. The guest took one look at Sophia's poise and the cash in her hand. And most of his anger melted away. Sophia turned to the restaurant manager with a polite smile. My friend is proposing tonight. I think your server just got a little flustered and slipped. Please don't be too hard on her. The manager nodded and bowed. All apologies. When it was handled. Sophia came back to me like nothing had happened and held out her hand. Where's that ring? I snapped out of it and slid the ring smoothly onto her finger. We smiled at each other and never glanced at that broken, hollow woman again. On our way out, I left a bank card on the table and said to the manager who'd followed us over. PIN is 6/8. Tell the server it's compensation. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't sympathy. It was pity. The kind of pity you feel from very, very high up. For someone who betrayed you. Pity is a crueler punishment than revenge. Because it means they don't matter anymore. They can't touch you. They can't even ruffle your feathers. Outside the restaurant, Sophia looped her arm through mine and grinned up at me. So, husband, was I cool back there or what? So cool. I pinched her cheek. My girl's beautiful and kind. And when she handles business, unstoppable. Damn right. She tilted her chin up. Proud. With people like that, you hit them with the softest words and the hardest truth. Let her see exactly what she threw away. And let her know she doesn't even get to be jealous anymore. I laughed. My girl. Sharp as a knife. Sweet as candy. Our wedding was a month later. We held it at a mountaintop estate with a view of the whole city. Only real friends. Real family. And people from the business world. At the ceremony, Samuel walked Sophia down the aisle and placed her hand in mine. Liam. I'm giving you my little girl. If you ever hurt her, you'll answer to me. His eyes were glistening. But his tone was dead serious. Dad. I promise. I squeezed Sophia's hand. I'm only ever going to make her the happiest woman in the world. When we exchanged rings, I looked into Sophia's starbright eyes and thought back to that other wedding, the one that had turned into a funeral. Same ceremony. Same man. But the woman beside me. A different world. And the man standing there. Unrecognizable. Turns out when the universe takes something from you, it's only to make room for something better. At the reception, an old childhood friend of mine had a little too much to drink and slung an arm around my neck. Hey. Liam, you remember Emma? Heard she had some kind of breakdown. Her parents took her back to their hometown. Think she regrets it. Seeing how well you're doing now. Must eat her alive. Did she regret it? I didn't know. And I didn't care. All I knew was this: from the moment I walked out of that hotel and decided to get even. The name Emma had been erased from my life. Whether she regretted it, whether she was doing okay, none of it had anything to do with me. I looked across the room at Sophia, laughing with her friends. She felt my gaze and turned, giving me that sweet, bright smile. That was my present. And my future. Raise a glass to the past. Never look back. No matter how much you once loved. Life's too short to waste a single second on someone who isn't worth it. Hey there. Could you rate this story in the comments? Use a scale of 1 to 10. Please, I am begging you. It really means a lot to me. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit follow.